What's up, my fellow small business supporters? I'm Savvy, here with a new tag video for you guys today. Today I am going to be doing the artistic author tag. This tag was originally created by my good friend Laura of Trope Trinity Trilogy, and I was tagged in this by A.S. Howell, aka the Adorkable Author. So for this tag, what you have to do is draw one of your characters from your novel or your work in progress or any piece of writing. You have to draw a character or a symbol or something from it. There are different challenges for different characters and different types of drawing or art that you can make about these. And then you're also supposed to kind of talk about your process of making the art and how it related to the book and all of that. So for this one, I kind of combined two of the different challenges. One was to draw a symbol from the book, and then other ones were to draw characters. So who I'm drawing today is actually not a main character, not a protagonist. This is a character who is a symbol. So the character that I'm drawing right now is named Jessica from page 14. I just checked in the book to see if she actually does appear on page 14, and she doesn't, unfortunately. That would have been a fun Easter egg, but she appears first on page 28, so maybe I should have named her Jessica from page 28 instead, but that is beside the point. Her name is Jessica from page 14, and the reason that that's her name is that none of the characters actually know this girl, but she is a Playboy model that appears on page 14 of one of Kelly's dad's issues of Playboy. So in Sculpt Yourself, one of the main characters is Kelly, who is an artist, and she's doing a series of anatomy studies, and she makes it clear toward the beginning of the book that one of the first places she looked when she started studying people's anatomy was at Playboy. So she used to steal her dad's Playboy magazine so that she could study the different anatomy of the different women in there who had very enhanced body proportions, and so she could kind of use those as ways to study human anatomy and proportions and use that from an art perspective. So one of the characters that she's been drawing is Jessica from page 14 of an issue of Playboy, and this character comes back a few times because she's the subject of some of Kelly's initial anatomy study sketches, but then towards the end of the book, this isn't a spoiler, don't worry, toward the end of the book, Kelly has an art show that a lot of the characters go to where a lot of things happen. And at that art show, she does kind of a complete piece about Jessica from page 14. Instead of just a sketch, she makes it into like a complete painting with, you know, color and canvas and all that good stuff. So, and then that becomes a featured piece at that art show. So I decided to draw this character for a multitude of reasons, but before I get into that, I'm going to kind of take you guys through the process of how I actually drew her, as you can kind of see on the screen right now. So for drawing this character, I'm using the program GIMP. GIMP is sort of like Photoshop, but it's free. It's like an open source program, and it's not that similar to Photoshop. I guess there's a lot of different features. A lot of people who hear that I do art in GIMP are shocked and are like, how can you possibly do that? Like, GIMP is so limiting, which I guess I learned it in GIMP because I was always too cheap to pay for a program. So I learned digital art in GIMP, so I'm just used to it at this point, and it's not weird to me. I've learned what tools I can use, so I have no problem with it. If anyone wants any tips on doing art in GIMP who have trouble with the program, just let me know. But basically what I do is I start by sketching the outline of the character on paper. I then scan it using the app Google Photo Scan and upload that to my computer. And then while it's on the computer, I transferred it to GIMP. So if you saw at the beginning of the video when I was doing a sketch and tracing the lines of my original sketch, I have my pencil sketch underneath as like a bottom layer. And then I add a million layers on top of that. So I had originally like a rough sketch layer where I just did a rough sketch of the lines with the digital paintbrush tool. And now, and then over that, I added a bunch of layers for like the different parts of her body. It took like some figuring out of like, is her hair going to be over her shoulder? Do I need her chin to be over her neck? And then based on that, I would put certain layers over other layers so that when I then color things in, things are in the proper position. You'll kind of see what I mean when I get to that point. But now I'm kind of making a color palette for her. So I'm blocking out different colors that I'm going to want to use throughout the process of coloring this, and I'm putting them on the layer that is the designated layer for color of each of those parts. So like this blue I'm doing right now is going for like her bra. I have like a layer of bra color and that kind of thing. I'm doing a layer of face color right now, so I put those on that layer so that I could use kind of the color dropper tool and just select those colors and not have to worry about trying to find them in the big color picker again in the future. So I'm just kind of working on blocking in the colors for her face right now. Another important thing that I do with the layers is that I make sure I have separate outline, color, and shading layers for each part of the body, because I want to make sure that I can, easily block in the colors underneath the outline, and that the outline will always remain over top of the colors, and that then I can have shading colors on top of the main colors, because for example, you'll see in a little bit when I do shading on top of her face, I need to mess with the transparency of that layer so that different filters can show through. You'll see what I mean when I get there. So that's kind of what I did with that. Now I'm kind of blocking in the color for her eye. When I originally drew this, I tried to make her eye more complicated, because when I illustrated the book Just Me Wrigley, I had a lot of fun making really detailed, really expressive eyes for that, and then I tried to do it with this character and I realized it wasn't really working, so her eyes end up, I kind of color over this later. Her eyes don't end up being this pretty later, sorry. So today I'm drawing Jessica from page 14 for a couple reasons. When I originally wrote Sculpt Yourself, I wanted the cover of the book to actually be Jessica from page 14. But I wasn't confident enough yet in my drawing abilities, and so I commissioned a piece of art of this character from someone else, and the art looked really good. So I used it for a lot of promotional images. It's really good art. But then when I went to go put it on the cover, it didn't really work, and then I came up with the cover idea of what I have now, which is the female bathroom symbols, one with like a standard body and one with a super curvy body. And I realized that I actually liked that cover better, so I went with that. But now, this is a little bit of a spoiler alert because I'm going to do more announcements on this in the future, but I'm looking at recreating the Sculpt Yourself cover potentially in maybe October or November, because I'm considering writing a sequel to it for NaNoWriMo. That's a little bit of a secret I wasn't ready to reveal yet, but I might, I'm going to do an official announcement on that later if that actually is going to happen. But right now I'm kind of plotting out that might be a thing that I do, and then if I do that, the cover that I have right now wasn't, like, the motifs of it weren't really working design-wise with the concept of this other novel that I want to write for it, so I decided I might do a re-release of the cover and do the pop art style that I originally wanted, because now that I've illustrated Just Me Wrigley, which is a book that's also done in pop art style, I feel more confident in my ability to do this now. And you'll see when this picture's done, I'm not entirely happy with it either, but I've learned more things since then, so I will be kind of redoing this picture if I do decide to use it for a cover. This AuthorTube artist tag actually came at a very appropriate time for me, because this week I've just been doing a lot of art and doing a lot of recording of my art and doing a lot of speed paint type of stuff. So if you guys have seen, I have a new channel icon. Obviously I have that new icon on my Facebook and Instagram. It's kind of my new icon for everything that I did in a pop art style, and that one turned out a lot better than this picture that I'm doing right now. So there will be a speed paint and tutorial kind of video about how I did that as well coming out soon. But since doing that, I realized I've learned some new techniques along the way that I can redo Jessica from page 14 and make her cover image worthy, so I'm gonna probably redo Jessica in a future video that you guys will see. But now back to what I'm actually drawing right now. So as you can see, her face has kind of one of those pop art style filters like you would have seen in like 60s, 70s comics. I wanted to do this kind of filter because in the book, when Kelly draws Jessica from page 14 in the full color version, she does that kind of style on her. So what I found is that in GIMP, if you go to filters and then to distort and then to newsprint, you can put a newsprint style filter on one of the layers of it. So that's what I did with this. There was a filter in GIMP that I was able to put over her face to create that dot pattern, which looks good. I really like how that turned out. And then you can play with like the dot size and the dot color, and if you want to do dots in like RGB or CMYK, or if you want to do them just with nothing and just have them be transparent underneath, which is what I did for this, because I'm going to do another layer underneath her face color now that's going to be like the face background color. So when I color things in GIMP, what I often do is I have the outline layer that goes over top of that, and then I make that layer, I adjust the transparency of that layer so that it's like somewhat gray so that I can see through it. And then I have the color layer on top of that, and then I just trace over the outline. It's nice because tracing over the outline is very relaxing, and I can watch lots of booktube videos in the background while I do that. So that's often what I'm doing, is watching your guys' videos while I'm doing those less focused parts of the art, and it's really fun. And then I'm kind of going back to the outline and adding some thicker outlines to this because I wanted her hair to have like a very thick edge. If you guys have seen like the pop art style, there's often very, very intense thick outlines in addition to kind of the dot pattern on the skin. So that's what I did for that. I had a weird time working on her lip color. I definitely need to maybe adjust that a little bit when I redo her in a future video, but I tried a few different things with the lip color, but then I eventually figured out how to do lips when I did my own icon. And I think the ones on the picture of my face, which you can obviously see on my channel icon right now, I think those turned out better. So that'll be something to learn for the future. What's really been fun about the process of drawing this picture, though, I mean, it's been a few things. One, that I've been wanting to draw this picture since I wrote the first draft of Sculpt Yourself for NaNoWriMo back in 2017, but I didn't feel confident enough in my art ability to be able to do it then. That, and the fact that I had been visualizing this image as representative of the novel Sculpt Yourself for years, since I very first wrote it, and to get to bring that to life is really exciting. I mean, it's also a little bit frustrating because this image didn't come out exactly how I envisioned it in my head. It came out close to how I envisioned it, so that's good. But it didn't come out exactly how I envisioned it. So I'm definitely going to be doing another version of it, using some of the similar techniques to what I did in here, but also mixing that with some of the techniques I did on my channel icon. Please let me know in the comments below if you guys enjoy these kind of videos where I talk in the background while doing art. I know a lot of people enjoyed the video I made where I made cupcakes while reviewing a book, so sometimes it's fun to like do something while talking about something, so I'd love to do more videos where I am doing some art, especially because I do digital art a lot and I've been recording my process a lot more recently, so I'd love to do more videos where I do some digital art and then I also review a book or give you guys writing tips or something. Is that something you guys would be interested in? I hope so, because I have like 3 of them that I'm planning and working on editing right now, so you're gonna get them regardless. But let me know also if that's something you want me to do more of, because I'll focus some of my content on that a little bit more if that's something that you guys end up really liking. I struggle with hands so much. I think if I do end up using a version of this as a cover image, I might just like actually redo the like not the proportions, redo like what's visible so that you guys don't actually see her hand, because I'm not very confident in my ability to draw hands at all. I think that's pretty common for various artists, is that drawing hands is difficult all around. So unfortunately I had to stop recording the drawing process itself. So here's a picture of it where it was when I stopped recording. The reason I had to stop recording was that my computer was starting to freeze up, and I think it was from running a digital art program and running my screen recording program all at once, and it was making it really slow for my drawing, so I wasn't able to get it done efficiently, so I had to stop the screen recording program, unfortunately. So here are some pictures of Jessica from page 14 along the way. This is kind of what she looked like when I was finished with her. I like her face overall, but I think that I need to work on her chin shape and her chin outline, making that a little bit smoother. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video today. Shout out to my patrons. Remember, you can take a look at the Patreon linked in the description below. I have a few videos that I'm trying to work on that are more high budget type of things. But thank you to Zach Tries to Read and Dana Gaulin Writes for, being my first couple patrons. And don't forget to support small businesses. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you again soon.